Okay? Give it up, everybody, for Greg Orme.
Oh my God, thank you so much. I am Greg Orme. I am a delight. That was true. Let's clear the air. I know what you're all thinking. That guy's 5'8", right? Yep. Good job, everyone. We figured it out together. So this is kind of fucked up, but it's also kind of a brag. So buckle up. I recently received a Facebook invitation to a baby's funeral. Oh, is right. You can't say no to that. It doesn't matter where you are that day. Like, I think it was called, hey, decline this one, fucker. Here's the thing about getting that invitation. Hadn't spoke to the dad of the baby in 10 years. Had never met the mom of the baby. Not real close with the baby. Still made the list for the baby funeral. Like goddamn Brad Pitt or something. I think that's definitely the weirdest way anyone has ever tried to catch up with me. Hey Greg, how's the city? My baby's dead. You see any good movies? I wanted to see Wonder Woman, but baby's dead, so I've been dealing with that. I heard it was pretty good. Anyway, keep in touch. So this happened to me a while ago. A baby was being carried by its mom. It wasn't just walking around. That would have been a whole other thing, but it looked at me, it pointed at me, and said, "Dad." Now, that baby's a liar, but I am terrified that that's how I'm gonna find out. Like, I'll be just walking through the streets and a baby will go, "Dad." And I'll go, "No, not me, governor." And he'll go, "Nope, you're my dad." And then the mom will go, "What's that, baby?" "You're right, that is your dad. Let's get him." And then I'm just got. I have to raise the child. Probably worse news for the child. I don't think babies are allowed to eat Cliff Bars. And that's all that I got, so that's a problem. I lived in New York for a few years. I don't know if you guys have heard of that place, but it's true. I lived there. I worked at a specialty foods market. It's like Whole Foods, but smaller and more expensive. And it was in rich Brooklyn, so celebrities would come in sometimes. Not a big deal. Olivia Wilde would come in. She was very nice, but she would bring her baby, and her baby is an asshole. She asked me to grind her coffee, and I was like, sure, I would love to. And then the baby looked at me and said, "Yeah, bitch, grind the coffee." It's words. I would never call someone a bitch, but the baby, that's what he said. I'm just repeating it to you. I don't know if you guys remember, like 15 years ago, when creeps on the internet had an online countdown clock to when the Olsen twins turned 18, so they could be slightly less of creeps. Well, I have one for this baby, and when he turns 18, I'm gonna kick his ass. I'll be in my mid-40s by then. He's just gonna get jumped. I'm starting to train right now. He's just gonna be walking down the street, and I'll be like, "Remember Brooklyn?" And I'll jump him with my whiskey and cigarette-addled voice. "You never had any real problems." And then he'll be the one that got. So that'll be nice. I'm not here to lie to you people. I don't know what it's like to be catcalled on the streets of New York City. I don't. I would never say that I do. I do, however, know what it's like to be yelled at by a stranger for not catcalling people on the streets of New York City. This happened the day I got that job. I was walking in front of a McDonald's, so it was probably my fault. And this guy comes up to me, he's like, "Take your earbuds out." So I do. And then he yells, "You gotta let the people know you like what you see." We were 2 feet away, so that was necessary. And I said, "All right, thank you." And he said, "You gotta let them know." And I said, "All right, thank you." And then he said, "Next time I see you, I want to see that you've made progress in this department." And then he wandered off into the night like the ghost of unwanted sexual attention. I haven't done it once because I'm not gonna fucking talk to a stranger. Not unless it's a dog. This happened while I lived there. It's one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. I was riding the subway, as one does, and it was pretty full, and then a dance crew got on the subway. But there were too many people for them to dance that day. They looked around, they're like, "I don't know if we've got room," and one of them was like, "Fuck it, let's do it anyway." But they did not dance that day. It was beautiful. It was like watching the whole city come together as one to prevent a tragedy. I mean, they say the tears of a clown are the saddest tears of them all, but the tears of a subway dance crew, why, that's more precious than all of your rubies and emeralds and what have you. It's truly beautiful. I grew up in rural Montana. Anyone else? That sounds right. Like there's 4 of us. When I was in high school, the entire state decided to do away with the DARE program because daring children not to do drugs was not working. It backfired horribly. So instead they came up with a program called Most of Us, because being passive aggressive is effective. So they put up flyers and billboards all over the state that said fun things like, "Most of us, 3 out of 4 Montana teens don't drink and drive." Ugh. And then there was like 7 multicultural kids on the poster, which was confusing for us because Montana is wider than Utah. So it looked like they were shipping in kids from other states to boost the stats, make them a little less sad. Here's the thing about 3 out of 4 not drinking and driving. I crunched the numbers on that. It's still bad. So my high school had 500 teens in it. That leaves 125 drunk teens cruising the streets. There are 2 streets. You cannot leave the house. You will die. Here's how effective that campaign wasn't. I came home to visit the year after I graduated. I was home for 1 week. 2 separate occasions in the newspaper, I read a story about a kid from my high school getting drunk, stealing a car, crashing it into someone else's kitchen. As if they got together ahead of time and said, "You know what? Fuck kitchens. We're gonna teach them a lesson." It was buried on like page 4, too. That's how little the town cared. Here's what was on the front page. "Old woman collects Snoopy memorabilia." That's the top story in the newspaper. 20 color photos, front and back. Every single picture, just an old woman standing in front of Snoopy shit going, "I guess this is news. They're in my house. It must be important." I will leave you with this. I have a beard now. Some of you have probably thought about how beautiful it is. I grew it defensively. I got sick of people telling me what celebrities I looked like. It's rarely good. I mean, the first guy said, "Hey, you kind of look like Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire." I was like, that's good. He's kind of a sociopath, though, but sure. And then another friend came up to me and said, "Hey, you remember the Holocaust? You remember Anne Frank from the Holocaust? That's your celebrity doppelganger." Still not the worst one. A week later, the same friend texted me a picture of famous Nazi Heinrich Himmler. And the only words were, "That's you." And the worst part is he was not wrong. So I have a beard now. Bye.
Greg Orme, everybody!